Welcome to the Canoga Park Youth Art Center's new series, Art Explorer, where each lesson I will show you how to draw animals from all over the world. And by showing you how we use basic shapes to create these animals, it'll allow you to draw any animal that you want. So today, our travels are taking us under the sea, and we're going to learn how to draw fish. So fish are some of the most beautiful animals there are, especially the tropical ones that come in these bright colors. And you can see there are a bunch of different kinds of shapes. They've got different fins, they have different colors, they have different shaped noses. And the environments that our fish live in are beautiful. There's coral and sea kelp and starfish and all these lovely things that they can live in, the environment of fish. Here's a drawing that a child made of fish under the sea. So we're going to be learning how to draw fish today. Now, I didn't draw any predatory fish, but you can put anything you want. For example, you could put a mermaid in your picture. You can put a shipwreck. You can put an anchor. You could put a sea monster. You could put an octopus. All the things you can put under the water. An ancient city. How fun would that be? So this is where your imagination is your best friend. Let's take a look at what we're going to be doing today. This is my underwater picture. Now, I want you to notice a couple things in my picture. You know how I'm always talking about horizon lines? Well, even in an underwater picture, I still have a horizon line. It's this guy that runs all the way across. That's the top of the water. I know this because here's a boat floating on top. Now, beyond that, I have this line. That is the ocean floor. That's where the grasses grow from and the different things grow out of. You'll see I've got my sea kelp growing really high up. I've got some coral here, and I put an anchor in mine, and then I've got my fish. But you can see my fish are not plain. My fish have stripes. My fish have polka dots, and don't forget the bubbles. Fish breathe air just differently than we do. So, kind of a cool scene. I don't go scuba diving, but I imagine this is what it would look like. So, let's take a look at how we can draw some fishes. I'm going to start at the bottom here because I know this is the fish you guys usually draw. You guys usually draw this fish, don't you? I know, I've seen 1,000 of them. But there are easier and better ways of drawing a fish than that. Let's start at the top here. I started with a diamond. It's kind of like a square that's been squished. And then I added my fins, my top fin and my bottom fin. And then I just added a tail fin. And I want you to look as we're doing these that there's different tail fins on different fish. But we're starting from a basic shape. My next basic shape is this oval. And this is the kind of fish that I can make with that. I put on a nose. I put on slightly different top fins and bottom fins. And then I gave him a different type of tail fin. And our last shape is a square. Angelfish kind of have a squarish body. So here's my angelfish. I gave him a really big long nose, and look at how high his top and bottom fins are. And then here's our last picture because he has these really big fins that come out like that. So that's kind of an angelfish. But if you want to stay with the fish that you like to draw, this is kind of a way that we can make that fish look more like a fish. Because this fish, there's almost nothing holding his tail onto his body, right? So we have to give him a little something in there. So you can even take the fish that you know how to draw and turn him into a fish that looks more like a fish. All right, let's start our seascape. All right, now let's see, you guys remember that first line, what's it called? It's called a horizon line. But I'm going to make it wavy because there's waves on the ocean. And the next line that I need is the sea bottom. So I'm going to put my sea bottom right down there. So this is the ground, water, sky. So why don't we put in our fishes first? So I'm going to put in my diamond fish first. So I start with my diamond, right? I'm going to give him a top fin. I'm going to give him a bottom fin. And then I'm going to give him a tail fin. I'm going to give him a tail fin that looks like that. Give him a little eyeball. and his gills. The second you put those lines in there, it is such a fish. Now I can decorate it any way I want. I can put stripes back there. I can put another stripe up here. I can put polka dots up here. However I want to decorate them. Now let's start with that oval fish that we saw. Here's the oval. And I'm going to put his little nose on this side, like that. I'm going to give him a fin, like this, and a bottom fin, like that. And we're going to give him a tail fin. The tail fin is going to be a big tail fin. Give him an eyeball, maybe a little steering fin. You know how they got that little steering fin that goes there? And here are his gills. Now our third fish was a square. That's right, our angelfish. So here's my square. Now I put this big snout on him, like that. See how it kind of did that? Looks like parentheses in a way, or a bracket that we use when we're doing English. Now I'm going to put a tall, remember our angelfish have these really long top and bottom fins, and their tail fins are really huge too. Come out like that, and they go out like this. There you go. Here's our angelfish. Here's our angelfish eye, and our angelfish gills. Now if we're going to do coral, coral is like an ice cream cone. You know what an ice cream cone looks like, right? So I'm going to do an oval. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's an organic object. And then I'm going to make wiggly lines that come down like that. So you can see it looks like an ice cream cone. I'm going to put him to make another one. See, I do an oval, and then I just make wavy lines that come down there. And this is the bottom. And I always like to put rocks around things that are growing. It just makes them look more natural. Maybe put one behind him. Maybe a little guy over here. So make a little oval. Then we've got a little tiny ice cream cone. There we go. So there's our coral. And you know, you can add whatever you'd like to this, but let's put some sea kelp in. Sea kelp just grows like a plant. So first we'll put those in. And then we're just going to put another line because it's a thick stem that they're on, right? So we make that a double line. And remember, the ocean waves are moving all this stuff around. I'll put a little leaf on the top of these guys, little leaf, and then I just fill in the bottoms with long leaves all the way, and they can overlap. Overlapping is good. Just erase where you've overlapped. I'm going to fill all of these up. So you can tell, I'm just going to fill all of these up. You can use your imagination. We fill the rest of them up. I'm going to show you how to draw a clam. A clam is an oval. Right? And then it's a wavy line like this because his lips are closed. And we're going to make that a double line. There we go. And now the only thing left we need to do to make our clam a clam is to put these lines in here at the high spot. There's the high spot of each of our little bumps. It's a clam. You can make a starfish, but we don't want to make the starfish like this, right? Because it would look like he was standing up. So we have to make our starfish look like he's laying down. So I'm going to make him look like he's a napping starfish, napping at the bottom of the ocean. There's 3 legs, there's 4 legs, and here's our 5th leg, and he's going to be laying down like that. So you can see he looks like he's laying flat. Now the only thing we need, we got our sun. Let's finish our sun up here. And I put a little boat up here. Maybe he's fishing for our friends. Do you hope he gets the fish or that he doesn't get the fish? Here's our boat, like a rectangle, just a regular rectangle, but we come in a little bit on the bottom. Mast, just a line. Triangle, sail. Put a little guy in there. There you go. Don't forget the bubbles, 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 bubbles. There we go. There is our underwater scene. But I bet you'd like to see it in color, huh? Well, if you are among those lucky kids that have paint and crayons or oil pastels, look, it's a lot different with color, isn't it? I know. So you can see I made my sky a sunsetty sky. I made my water more of an aqua. And if you don't have brown paint, I mixed orange and blue, and that's what gave me this brown paint. I colored in my fish with oil pastels. I drew a line drawing with all of it with my oil pastels. And then I just painted over it. So you can tell, yeah, I have to admit, the painted version of an underwater scene is very attractive. I hope you guys have paint. And I hope you enjoyed going under the sea with me today. Remember, we would love to see your works of art. Please send them to us, and we'd be happy to see them. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Art Explorer by the Canoga Park Youth Arts Center. We'll see you again.